Good evening. I'm Julian Voscott with Lindsay Wolf at the Albany High School gym. Tonight, the women's basketball team honors their 7 senior players in addition to taking on the John Swett Indians to win third place in the league.
That's right, Julian. These two teams are going to be fighting with everything they have to make it to the league playoffs. And if that's not enough motivation, this will be one of the last times many of these seniors will ever play together. They've been playing since grade school. It's going to be such a great game.
We'll be back with senior night and John Swett versus Albany. Stay tuned. Good evening and welcome back. I'm Julian Voscott with Lindsay Wolf and Josh Klatt on the sideline. Tonight, the John Swett Indians and the Albany Cougars match up, and in addition, tonight is also senior night. We are honoring the Cougars' 7 senior players. These players are Serena Eppel, Danielle Aquino, Arnell Akakaya, Camille Obata, Maya Kato, Caitlin Endo, and Whitney Tamaki. Now, there are 2 captains on this team that are seniors. Those are Whitney Tamaki and Caitlin Endo.
That's right. I'm Lindsay Wolf, and Coach Ray Newsom is very optimistic about tonight because if the Cougars win this game, it increases their chances on getting to playoffs in NCS. However, senior Camille Obata tells us that losing 7 seniors and having 2 injured juniors takes its toll on the team. The Cougars are currently tied for third place with the John Swett Indians.
Now, Josh, which players should we be watching this evening?
Well, as you mentioned, Julian, the starters and the captains, Whitney Tamaki and Caitlin Endo, are certainly 2 of the seniors that you should watch. But as you mentioned, they will be losing 7 players at the end of this year. So their head coach, Ray Newsom, brought up a bunch of junior varsity players to get used to what it's like to be on a varsity team and hopefully prepare them for next year. As of right now, some of the underclassmen, or I guess juniors, that will be on the court for Albany alongside their seniors are Avalon Miller, Michelle New, Jane Shu, and Sydney Hirsch. And they're the ones to watch because they will be next year's big seniors that will be hopefully leading the Cougars on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, a third-year varsity player, Maya Chin, is also one of the captains, along with Whitney Tamaki and Caitlin Endo. And from what I've heard, she is a phenomenal player. And she's a third-year VAR player, and she's a captain. This is a big night for the seniors on the team. They're honoring them. I'm going to repeat that list once again. That's Serena Eppel, Danielle Aquino, Camilo Obata, Maya Kato, Caitlin Endo, Whitney Tamaki, and Arnell Nkataya.
Yes, they're all been playing again for so long together since elementary school, and I feel like it's one of their last games that they're going to be playing together as a team, and it should be a great one.
Now, one thing you have may have noticed about, especially about the last names of these young ladies, is many of them are of Japanese descent, and that is in part because many of them played on Japanese church leagues. One, for example, the East Bay Rising Suns or the Berkeley Otani. Those are some of the teams that we mentioned, and
Yeah. Um, Also, they're all wearing purple shirts, and it's a known fact that purple is the seniors' color, so it looks like they're all very supportive of their seniors tonight.
yes, purple is the senior color, indeed. Josh Glad is a senior.
Hey guys, I found a quote from the senior Whitney Tamaki because Julian, you were saying something about them being a close knit group, and Whitney said this quote: "It's more than just a sport to me; it holds a family value."
Yes,
So
Whitney Tamaki's father is one of the assistant coaches on the team, and many of the families are involved in the team very much. Here at Albany, this is one of the sports we pride ourselves in. Um, Women's basketball and women's volleyball in particular. And Josh, what do you know? What What do you think contributes to being a good basketball player? Is it seniority? What would you say it is?
Well, it's hard to say that age is exactly the key to success. It's important to be quick. It's important to be athletic, and of course, willing to put your body on the line um, for your team. Of course, last year this is going to be a flashback moment for me. I guess I'll call this my senior night. The first game that I called, it was Albany versus Salesian. It was men's basketball, but some of the players on the Salesian team were prospects, and you got to see what it took to be a Division I top prospect with speed and quickness, and of course, height.
Definitely.
There have been some injuries on the team this year. Maya Chin, in particular, she's the starting center and a junior, third year on varsity. She got a concussion in a game versus Las Lomas over winter break before league games actually began. The coaches and doctors aren't too optimistic about her returning this season, although she is not in the lineup tonight, I don't believe. However, we shall see. It also says that the doctors were not optimistic even about next season. She seemed pretty beaten up by that concussion. I doubt that she'll be playing tonight. She's not in that lineup there that you can see on the screen. There we have Danny Aquino, Camilo Bata, Caitlin Endo, Whitney Tamaki there, and Serena Apple to her left. And on the other side, Maya Cato and Arnell and Kataya.
Okay. Albany High School Theater Ensemble presents the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. The musical will be playing on February 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 8th, 9th, and 10th on Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. and on Sunday at 5 p.m. Tickets are $10 for students and $15 for adults.
Have we ever had and senior night is beginning right now?
Tonight, the last scheduled home game of the year is senior night. To take care of the senior night presentations, it's my pleasure to introduce the head coach of the Cougars, Mr. Ray Newsom Jr.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. This is always my favorite night of the year. Seeing these young ladies off, it gets harder and harder every year to see them go away. And this year, we got a bunch of them going away. As you can see, we have 7 seniors that are saying goodbye to us tonight. Tradition, for those who don't know, this is their last regular season home game that they ever play here at Albany. So we always want to celebrate that opportunity for them so they can say goodbye the last time. So, before we get started, I would like to welcome the John Swett Indians, the John Swett Indians. And John Swett has 4 seniors, if I understand. And they are Alexis, Tiana, Jackie, and Angelique. Just want to say thank you guys for coming out. Obviously, this will be the last time you guys will play on this court, so just wanted to celebrate you guys the right way also. Okay? Okay, we have some other seniors that I would like to acknowledge. It is my stack girls. They have done a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job this year. They give up their free time to come out and support their friends, and come on the road with us and support. So they give up a lot of their own free time to support our team. So I want to say thank you very much. So can I have Serena stand up, please? We have a little thank you. Also, we have Jamie. And just a little extra acknowledgement to this this young lady who supported us for 2 years in a row, and she's came to every game, tournament, road. She's always there. She's given up her Saturdays to came to the game. So I just want to say thank you, Zoe, so much. Thank you very much. Okay, so as you can see, we have 7 seniors. So if I even gave them 5 minutes of individual time, we'd be here for another 35 minutes. So I don't want to short them, but I want to be time sensitive. So I typically do this ad lib, right? I don't like having words to say. I like to come what's in my heart, right? But when I do it that way, it tends to go on and on and on. So I have to do it a little bit more scripted this year, just so we can be a little more time sensitive. But don't excuse my brevity because I don't love these young ladies, and I can talk to each one of them for at least 15 minutes. So, okay, let's get started. I have Maya Hato come out, please. Can I have Maya's family come on down? So Maya is joined by her dad, Vernon, and mom, Karen, and sister, Leah. When I think of Maya, the first word that comes to my mind is courage. She tried out for varsity for the first time her senior year. That takes a lot of courage. You know, she's going up against friends who are established players. Takes a lot of guts. She came out, she did her best, and it paid off. And she's here. She's gotten better and better each practice, each game. Every time she steps on the court, I see improvement in her. Congratulations. That's great courage. Maya Gata. Camille Obada. Yeah, Camille's family come out, please. Camille is joined by her dad, Wilbur, and mom, Jill. When I think of Camille, it's determination. You know, Camille ruptured her Achilles last year. She's a 2-year varsity player, but just before the season started, she ruptured her Achilles. We know it's a very difficult and painful injury. It's not an easy one to recover from. But Camille was determined to come back and play her senior year. So she worked very hard all season in the summer, working out very, very hard. And as you can see, she made it back 100%. I told her the other day, I think she was running faster than I saw she did last year. So it's that determination that got you here. So congratulations, Camille Obama. Arnell and Capilla. Arnell is joined by her dad, Nick, and mom, Anita. Obviously, I've known this family for such a very long time. I coached their oldest daughter and their second oldest daughter. Helped do my stats for years, so I'm very, very familiar with this family. Arnell is a 2-year varsity player. And my word for Arnell is steadiness. What I appreciate about Arnell is she doesn't get too high when things are going great, but she doesn't get too low when things are not going so well. It's that steadiness that makes her great. As a coach, you really appreciate the level of calmness in her game. So when the games are close and tense, I know I can count on Arnell to be there. I can always trust her in crunch time. It's that calmness that's going to bode you well in your future. Steadiness, Arnell. Congratulations. Danny Aquino. by her grandmother, Jean. Think about Danny, it's athleticism. Athleticism. Despite her size, Danny is one of the best athletes I have ever coached. Besides basketball, she's an accomplished track and field star, doing the long jump and the triple jump. In fact, I think she's got some school records of doing it. Is that correct? She's super fast, extremely quick, and can jump out the roof. I marvel at some of the things I see her do on the court. Athleticism, Danny. Congratulations. Serena Apple. And Serena is joined by her stepdad, Carl, mom, Claire, and brother, Cedric. The lead what comes to mind for Serena is perseverance. Serena is one of the strongest people that I know. No matter what obstacles in her way, she will not let stop her from accomplishing her goals. Any skill in the course she wanted to improve, she worked and worked until she achieved those results. And it's paid off. She's turned herself into a very important piece to this team. Congratulations. Perseverance. Caitlin Endo. Yes, ma'am. Caitlin is joined by her dad, Mark, mom, Lori, and brother, Michael. Caitlin is a 3-year varsity player, and my word for Caitlin is selflessness. And anybody who knows Caitlin knows why. It's a perfect trait to have for a point guard, somebody to be so unselfish. In fact, Caitlin is almost too unselfish because I've been telling her time and time she needs to shoot more, but that's okay. She's always cheering, encouraging her teammates on, and that's why she's appointed captain, because the way she supports everyone. She's always thinking of others and herself. That's Caitlin self. Whitney Tamaki. Whitney is joined by her dad, Stan, mom, Kathy, sister Zoe, and little sister Courtney. The word for me for Whitney is leadership. Leadership. Leadership is best earned when it's earned by example. Whitney is a great leader because she sets the example because of her incredible work ethic. Everyone sees how hard she works and the great results she gets from that work. So we all respect and admire for what she has accomplished in her basketball career at Albany. This is probably the closest team that I've ever coached since I've been here. These 13 players here are incredibly close. And a great deal of that is because of Whitney and her leadership. Congratulations, Whitney.
And that was senior night for the women's varsity basketball
There
team.
will be an approximately 10 or 12 minute warm-up period
And
for the teams.
we're waiting 10 to 12 minute warm up here
15
for
minutes
both
on total.
teams. And
Shortly
once again,
after
this
that,
is
we'll
the
be
John
warm-up.
Swett Indians against
In the
the
meantime,
Albany
the
Cougars.
snack bar in the gym lobby is open and eager to do business with you. Step up and spend some money. All proceeds are put back into the program. Thank you.
And today's broadcast is brought to you by Clearcom, a global manufacturer of communication systems. We want to thank Ron Rosenblum and Clearcom Intercom Systems of Alameda for their generous mentoring and technical support. Once again, that is Clearcom Intercom Systems of Alameda. And warm-ups have begun, at least for the Albany side, while the John Swett side stretches. Like we told you before, both teams are competing to win third place in their league, and if the Cougars win tonight, it will increase their chances of going to the playoffs or NCS.
Yes, this game determines who gets third place and who will proceed into the playoffs, or not proceed, excuse me, but continue on to be into the playoffs.
And once again, I want to name those seniors who were honored tonight, in addition to the rest of the lineup. Whitney Tamaki, number 15, the captain, actually one of the captains. Number 35, Caitlin Endo, a captain. Number 24, Arnell and Kataya. Number 23, Serena Apple. Number 5, Danny Aquino. Camille Obata, Maya Kato. Those are the seniors this evening. The starting lineup includes also Katie Yamada, a junior, Avalon Miller, a sophomore, Michelle New, a junior, and Jane Shu, a sophomore. That's this evening's lineup.
Okay, come out and see your Albany High varsity men and women soccer teams next week for their TCAL playoffs. And congratulations to the women's varsity soccer team for winning league.
Lindsay, you're on the women's varsity soccer team. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. You know,
We've missed you here. You haven't been on in a while. We've missed you.
yeah, I've missed it too, but I have to say, winning league was so amazing, and I hope that the varsity girls basketball team can do the same.
How did the your final game go that I believe you guys won? Yes?
Yeah, our final game was against one of the teams that we often beat badly, so unfortunately, once again, we beat them pretty bad.
Well, like she just said, go out and see the next women's varsity soccer game. You are in for a treat because I'm sure whoever they play, they will win. And the whole family has a legacy there of being in soccer. Your sister Mallory is also on the varsity soccer team, and it's impressive that you're on varsity as a freshman. Now, did your sister teach you the tricks of varsity soccer?
She does help me practice often, but not really. More so just being able to play with someone at that level was a help in itself.
Very good, very good. Now, I want to throw it to Josh Glatt over on the sideline. Josh, what's the situation? What are we looking at?
Hey, Julian. Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that we on the Albany Student Broadcasting crew are missing two of our members because they're on the team. Camille Obata, who is honored, well, both of them were honored. Camille Obata, the senior starter, or she will be starting tonight, and the stats girl, Jamie Sung. But I also just thought it was worth noting in such a game of such hype for a lot of these seniors. They're very relaxed. I saw Maya Kato dancing as they were taking some free throws, playing with some of her teammates. So it's not like they at least don't seem like they're under too much stress and too much pressure.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you there. I know that they've beaten John Swett before, so hopefully they're not thinking too highly of themselves either.
And I want to list the John Swett varsity team members tonight. We have number 23, Jackie Moody. Number 1, Alexis Daly. Number 3, Kayla Orozco. Number 40, Veronica Barnett. Number 20, TT Kyle. Stephanie Robertson and Amy Yambao.
Again, they also have 4 seniors that we honor tonight.
Those would be Jackie Moody, Alexis Daly, Annie Yambao, and TT Kyle this evening. Those are John Swett seniors. Josh, what's your opinion on John Swett's overall performance and potentially their performance tonight?
Well, they're going to be a test for Albany. And of course, like you mentioned, this game has playoff implications. So it's going to be both teams that are going to be on fire. Not sure that either team really has much of an advantage over the other one. John Swett seems to have a bit of a size advantage, I guess, if any advantage, over the Cougars. But on the flip side, the Cougars may be a little faster. It may just come down to rebounding and how quick somebody can turn the corner and attack the basket.
Now, what would you have to say about the Japanese almost legacy here on the varsity women's team?
Yeah, well, a lot of the players have been involved in the Japanese basketball leagues. I can't speak personally. I can't really say. I don't know all too much about it. I just know that it's not just these guys, or these girls, I should say. There are a lot of athletes throughout Albany High School that stay involved with that league as well as other church leagues.
Well, we know that Arnell used to play varsity volleyball in her junior year and years previous to that. Arnell began her basketball career, however, when she was 10 years old. She tried out for the 6th grade team and played all 3 years of middle school between continuing to play in high school. So while she played volleyball the first 3 years in high school, basketball is her primary sport, and I would think the sport that she's most passionate about. There she goes for a pass to Camille in the warm-ups.
Yeah. You know, also, it's an interesting fact that Serena and Camille started playing basketball together on the same team. Like I said before, a lot of these girls have been playing together
It
for
is a
so
family.
long.
It is a family.
Yeah, and you know, I think I've come to a varsity girls basketball game before, and when a lot of the seniors are out on court, they seem to just know how each other plays and knows where to be. It's really impressive to watch them play together.
You say family, guys. I just wanted to bring up that Stan Tamaki, the father of Whitney Tamaki, is an assistant coach, as well as Mark Endo, who is the father of Caitlin Endo.
You know, once again, like you said, it's a family, and they all are intertwined into this one team, and they're all very committed.
And another fact regarding family, Avalon Miller, who's a sophomore, her sister, who has since graduated, Savannah Miller, also played varsity basketball. She was the class of 2012, but I believe she played varsity basketball her last 2 years of high school. So there's another legacy player on the team.
Yeah.
And Whitney has a little sister, so maybe that legacy can live on a few more years.
Yes, yes. And, of course, I believe Caitlin Endo and Serena Epple both have little brothers, and they both were wearing their Albany Middle School Cobra basketball jerseys, so we assume they will continue to play on the men's varsity, or junior varsity team that is their freshman year, in the coming years.
You know, also, in order for Albany to be first in league, they also have to beat Kennedy, who is first in league, and Hercules, who is second, assuming that they win this game and become third.
Yeah, and like we said, if they win tonight, it increases their chances very highly of going to the NCS or playoff to the league.
Yeah.
I can say Albany right now is 3-3. Swett is 1-4. And some other peers, Kennedy is 7-0. So Kennedy, like we said, number 1 is going to be a tough play. Hercules in second place there, 5-2. Richmond below Albany at 1-4. Swett at 1-4 once again, and Deanza at 0-4. So I think, Josh, Albany's biggest the biggest challenges are going to be Kennedy, which is 7-0, and Hercules, which is 5-2, respectively.
You know, another interesting thing is that. Sorry.
That's all right. I just, well, what this kind of brings to mind is that at the beginning of this year, the athletic department got together. They switched leagues. They moved the Albany Cougars into the new TCAL League, which was once the Bayshore Athletic League, to try and help make competition a little better, because for a while there, let's be honest, Albany sports were being destroyed by almost every other school in the Northern California state. So it's going to be a challenge, you're right, Julian. And I think it's fair to say that if Albany does beat Kennedy, you can call it an upset.
Yes, yes. Yes. Well, we shall see in the coming games. We will be right back with more John Swett Indians versus Albany Cougars action in a moment. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Introduce the starting lineups. First for the visiting Swett Indians.
And we're back.
In
The game
numerical order.
should start
Starting with number
momentarily.
1,
John
Senior
Swett versus
Alexis
the
Daly.
Albany Cougars. John Swett Indians versus the Albany Cougars. There's a huddle of the
Number 3,
Lady Cougars.
Kayla Orozco.
And here's the lineup for John Swett.
Number 20, T.T. Kyle. Number 23, Senior Jackie Moody. And number 24, Princess Robertson. The Indians are coached by Mr. Ken Carthen. And now the starting lineup for the Cougars. In numerical order, starting with captain number 15, Whitney Tamaki. Number 22, Camille Obata. Number 23, Serena Appel. Number 24, Arnell Nkataya. And number 35, Captain Caitlin Endo. The entire starting lineup for the Cougars tonight are seniors, starting their last regular home game.
And that is the starting
The Cougars
lineup
are
for
coached
tonight's
by
game.
Mr. Ray Newsom Jr., assisted by Stan Tamaki, Mark
You know,
Kendo, and Mishi Yamamoto.
The lineup is all seniors, but also there's also 2 seniors who aren't starting because there are 7
Tip-off
seniors
is
tonight. I
moments
wonder
away.
how the coach made a decision between all 7 seniors.
Well, currently the starting lineup is all
The
seniors.
referees for tonight's
And I would
game
imagine that has something to
are
do with this is senior
Ms.
night. We are
Janice
honoring the seniors.
Watts,
But my question is, how did he choose between
Mr.
all the 7
Victor
seniors which 5 to
Susanto.
start?
Thank you for your
Performance.
participation in tonight's event.
Well, I mean,
I'm not. Josh, go ahead.
it's hard to say if it's just performance alone. I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into deciding who your starters are, because your starters are the ones that will be, in a sense, the face of your team to other teams that will be coming to your gym, and just other players on your team. There's got to be some kind of work ethic, personality, all that goes into account. But the same goes for when you're picking a team after tryouts. You know, it's all is transversal.
And I would assume the starting lineup, since we are in Albany, that the coach wanted almost an intimidating face.
Yes, the tip-off just occurred, and John Swett won the tip-off.
And the ref has the ball, and it's to John Swett.
I'm standing under the basket right now, and the Cougars are very vocal with each other.
And it appears they're very aggressive with that blocking. And we're looking at a free throw by number 23, Jackie Moody, a senior. And she makes
Jackie
it.
Moody with one more free throw.
So the first point was just scored by John Swett from a free throw.
And she missed it. Apparently John Swett is in the lead, 1-0. And you know, free throws, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, free throws take a good amount of concentration. I mean, you have to line up the wrist flicking action. I mean, I know you don't play basketball, but you would have.
Well, yeah, it takes a lot of competition. It gets very quiet as it's about to be. And standing right under the basket, they're taking free throws. I was really hoping that you guys wouldn't send it to me, so I'd have to talk, because I was afraid I may ruin her concentration. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I used to play basketball, and taking free throws was one thing
Personal
that
foul
I was
call number
always
1 on
personally
Union,
scared
Alexis
about.
Zayer.
And Arnell and Kataya,
Arnell
number
and
24,
Kataya
is up for
on the
throw.
free throw line.
And she missed. One 0 Joan Swett.
Let's see if Arnell can make this and tie up the game.
And she misses. And she passes it to number 15, Whitney Tamaki, who takes for the shot, and she misses. John Swett has control of the ball. Number 23, Jackie Moody, passes it off to number 3, Kyle Orozco. Back to Jackie. And they attempt a layup, but it is blocked by Camila Bata, who passes it off to Serena Eppel, who passes it off to Caitlin Endo.
Camila Abada is not usually a starter, but she's starting tonight.
Yes. Serena Eppel makes the shot.
Current score is now 2-1, Albany.
Number 20, TT Kyle has the ball, blocked by Arnell and Kataya. Albany's back in control of the ball, Serena Eppel. But it is blocked by number 3, TT Kyle. Excuse me, Taylor Orozco. Winnie Tamaki taking it down the court. Now she's going to pass it to
It's
35.
somewhat of a confidence drain to miss layups. Like that, speaking from experience, I did play basketball.
And there we have number 15, Whitney Tamaki, one of the captains on the team, also a senior. She's one of the more prominent members on the team. Her, along with Maya Chin and Katie Endo, the captains. Maya Chin is a third-year varsity player. She's a junior, while Whitney and Caitlin are both seniors.
You know, Whitney has said that she's played for as long as she can remember, and she made varsity her sophomore year, and her freshman year she was a leader on the JV team.
Impressive.
Excuse me for interrupting. I don't know if you guys noticed when Camila Abada went up to take that three, she looked like she got hit in the face on the block, and she keeps grabbing her eye or her face, somewhere around there.
She
She's
has something in her eye, it looks like, but she looks able to play. We'll see if she steps out for a moment.
You know, I think her being a starter, she's going to try to play it off and
It's
just
her big
keep on
night.
playing.
It's senior night.
Yeah.
That ball was almost out of bounds, but Caitlin Endo caught it there, and it's out of bounds.
You know, something that has always impressed me about basketball is all these plays that everyone remembers and memorizes.
It's difficult. In my years, I played one season of basketball in 7th grade. Let's put it this way, I found out it wasn't my sport.
Again, Arnell taking the free throws.
Kayla Orozco called
This
for the
is
blocking foul.
the second foul
Arnell and
from John
Kataya
Swett.
shooting 2 free throws.
2 free throws for Arnell, number 24. And she makes it. And we're tied 3-3.
Avalon Miller now in the game for the Cougars.
Avalon Miller, sophomore, sister of Savannah Miller, a former varsity player on the Cougars, in the game.
You know,
And
it looks
Arnell
like
misses.
Coach must have noticed Camille's eye too, because that's who he just subbed out for Avalon. Oh, number 20, a senior, TT on John Swett, just scored a beautiful three.
TT Kyle, yes. And yes, it appears that Camille may be receiving some medical attention at the moment. Her eye appears to be bothering her. Josh, what did you see? Was she hit in the face?
Well, I'm a little far away, and from where she took the three, it was on the farther side of the court. But it looked like it was just physical play. It was just a defensive player trying to make a play on an offensive player who was going up for a shot, and that happens in sports. Of course, that's why Rip Hamilton made the mask so famous.
Yeah, you know, I realize John Swett seems to be playing a little more aggressive tonight. It seems this is the third time someone on Albany has had to take free throws.
Yes. And That is that is John Swett's third foul, and Avalon Miller there for the free throw.
Veronica Barnett.
And she makes it. Avalon Miller, sophomore.
You know, I've practiced with Avalon before, and her consistency is the thing that always gets me. She's an amazing basketball player.
And Arnell gets hit, falls. John Swett in control of the ball. They miss that layup. Albany takes back control with Whitney Tamaki passing it back to Serena Apple, who is waiting for that opportunity to pass it off for the shot. Number 20, T.T. Kyle, keeps blocking here and is passed off to Arnell, who passes it to Caitlin Endo.
Seems
Avalon
like John
Miller
Swett
saves the ball.
is just really being up on Arnell tonight. Once again, I just saw her get pushed down to the floor this time.
And Katie Yamada in for Serena Apple, and Danny Aquino in for Caitlin Endo.
And number 5, Danny Aquino, now in the game for the Cougars.
Hey, run a stack right there. Give me stack. Two, stack.
Katie Yamada waiting for that opportunity. She passes it, or attempts to pass it to Whitney Tamaki. It's blocked by number 23, but she ends up catching it again. Passes it off to number 5, Danny Aquino. Passes it back to Katie.
Balance out.
And Danny attempts to pass it to Whitney Tamaki. And Arnell hits number 3, Kayla Orozco.
Blocking foul on number
You know,
24,
that's a
Veronica
charging
Barnett.
foul, and it's very rarely called. It's usually on defense,
And
but I have to say,
it wasn't called just now.
I have to agree. It seemed like she just ran right into her.
John Swett is in control of the ball. Number 3, Kayla Orozco goes for the layup and misses.
Seems like Albany's
Personal
getting
foul
more
on number
aggressive
44,
slowly throughout the game. Again,
Miller.
another
Kayla
free
Orozco
throw
shooting 2
for
free
John
throws.
Swett.
That is number 3, Kayla Orozco going for the free throw. And she misses. She has a second opportunity.
You know, Josh, did you see any change in her form between the two shots?
I can't say I did. I think it just the silence. It gets to you because you have to think about it and you have to wait for your shot. It becomes a mind game, and that may be what that last shot was.
And Arnell seems to have knocked down number 20, T.T. Kyle, making up for all those times that they knocked her down. And I don't want to make the sport sound barbaric, but that's what appears to be happening. T.T. Kyle with the ball there. Danny Aquino blocking her. But T.T. Kyle is pushing it. They're
Albany's
pushing it. And John Swett keeps control of the ball here, despite defense from Albany. Albany's got control of the ball with Danny Aquino running down the court, going for that, and back in.
You know, Albany's playing what looks to be man-to-man defense, which I personally think is more aggressive than just playing defense in general.
Hey, Josh, let me ask you: is the game? Of course, it's about scoring, but I'd say defense and blocking is one of the most important things in the game.
Well, it's been said that a good defense is a great offense, so there's that. And it becomes an issue more about how can you contain a team that is, and you can see it, I noticed it, bigger than your team. When the John Swett team takes free throws, I noticed that Caitlin Endo comes down to the other end of the court, and she's standing beside somebody that towers over her. So the defense, it has to accommodate the differences in the teams.
Yes, yes.
again, I have to mention, Albany's defense tonight just looks phenomenal. They're blocking a lot of those shots, and I'm really impressed.
And the ball to Whitney Tamaki, passes it off to Danny Aquino. Now, Serena and Camille started playing basketball together on the same team. They also shared a third grade teacher, Mr. Fujita, who happens to be Danny's grandfather. This really is a family. It really is.
You know, just a couple seconds ago, Whitney made Albany in the lead just by scoring a layup, and it
Blocking foul called on
wasn't
number
just a
44,
normal layup.
Albany Miller.
It was a series of passes between the team,
Jackie
and it looked
Moody on the
incredible
line.
how it all played out.
Yes, yes. The free throw by number 23, Jackie Moody. This is her second opportunity, and it looks like she makes it. Number 21, in for number 44, Avalon Miller.
You know, now I've noticed there's two freshmen on the court right now, Sydney Hirsch and Jane Sue. And I myself have played with them, and they're both amazing players, and it's no surprise that they made varsity as freshmen.
Yes, yes. It shows what sport you really have focus in. Because it's very unlikely for an athlete to make
Personal foul on number
make
23,
varsity their
Jackie
freshman year in multiple
Moody.
sports. Now, as you made in varsity soccer your freshman year, I mean, how many years have you been playing soccer?
After some equipment
I've been playing for a
adjustments,
while, but you know,
Whitney Tamaki will
Whitney is
issue
older
2
than me,
free
and she's been
throws.
playing basketball for so long, and now she's about to really show her stuff and take 2 free throws.
It's funny, during the free throws, it becomes silent. Now that almost puts more pressure on the players, but it is well-needed silence, I believe, because it takes concentration to make that one free throw.
The silence reminds me of a couple of years ago in the NBA playoffs when the Cavaliers were up against the Wizards, and Gilbert Arenas had a chance to win the game for his team with a free throw, and no one knows quite what was said, but LeBron James walked by him before he took the free throw and whispered something in his ear. He went on to miss, and the Cleveland Cavaliers went on to advance in the playoffs, so it becomes a bit of a mind game.
And they didn't call it? They didn't call it?
No, they didn't call a foul, no.
Wow.
It was just a quick walk by and say hi kind of thing.
Sneaky, but effective tactic
You
by
know,
LeBron.
and again, with the silence thing, at other schools, they usually try to get into the player's mind who's taking the free throws and stomp and scream and yell not so kind words to the people. So it's another thing that Albany is just very respectful to the people who are taking the free throws.
Once again, this is the Albany Cougars against the John Swett Indians for third place in the league. That is, if Albany wins this game, they will be third place in the league, and if John Swett wins this game, they will be also third place in the league. Currently in first and second place, Kennedy and Hercules, respectively. And that's a point for John Swett. 8-10. John Swett in the lead. Whitney goes for the shot and makes it. We are 10-10 even, John Swett, Albany Cougars.
You know, Whitney just gave up a shot, and she really came back and took that shot back.
Yes. Now, from your perspective, Josh, how close, in terms of defense, how close do these young ladies, players, get to each other in terms of, practicing good defense?
They're right in the other player's hip pocket. It's very physical. They're on each other. They don't let up. They don't give any room. The problem is that John Swett has the ability to kind of push their way through because of the size thing, so it forces the Cougars to come over and try to double cover, which can lead someone open, and that could turn into trouble. But
And
it's working right now. It's tied 10-10.
that was the first quarter. We're tied at 10-10.
Most likely
You
Saturday
know,
morning coming
again,
up.
Josh, with the
Great
size thing,
opportunity for
I have
these
to agree.
budding
For our
TV
basketball team, Albany is a
camera
pretty short
people
team.
producers
I don't see
that have
anyone who's
service
over 6 feet
to get
tall
some great
easily.
things
So,
done
Oh,
here.
and as the head coach, as Coach Ray stated, Danny Aquino, one of the star players on the team, is not exceptionally tall. And to be good and be her height is pretty impressive. I'd say one of the taller members of the team, of course, Maya Chin, who's out on a concussion injury, Whitney Tamaki, Arnell, and Kataya. But the average height on the team, I would not say is exceptional.
yeah, but also, John Swett doesn't seem to have any players who are extremely tall either. So, it seems pretty well matched this game.
Yes. Number 24 seems to be exceptionally tall. That is on the Indians.
And Whitney just scored a shot on a foul as well. That's very impressive.
Count the baskets.
Yes.
So now Whitney also has her
Personal
two-shot
foul called
chance.
on number 24, Princess Robertson.
And she makes it. That's a point for Albany. 13-10, Albany in the lead.
After the quarter was done, Coach must have gave them some sort of great speech to get them all into this. I mean, Albany scoring 3
Yes.
points in the first 30 seconds.
Pep talk. And we can tell this coach, Coach Ray, is very charismatic, as we saw from the senior night speech he gave, and of course from his reactions there on the court. Although he doesn't get as angry as most coaches. In my day, I've seen coaches flip out completely on the court. This coach seems to keep his cool, but nevertheless, he keeps them determined and keeps them aggressive.
He doesn't quite level up to what Bob Knight was able to do as a coach.
Josh, do you know who Pat Summitt is?
Of course, the Tennessee women's coach.
Yeah, and you've seen her go off before.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a passion, I guess. You know, I mean, Bob Knight used to throw chairs on the court. It's kind of become synonymous with some coaches.
And I would say at least a good number of those coaches must do it for the television effect.
Well, it doesn't hurt the ratings, I guess. Although I don't know how many coaches are thinking of TV as a coaching, more just trying to stand up for their players. Bobby Cox, who used to coach the Atlanta Braves, set a National League record for ejections in a career before he retired.
Lou Piniella of the Cubs also, although he has retired since.
So it's just a passion, I guess. It's trying to make a point.
Yes. Well, whether Pat Summitt knew it or not, she was helping her team out and ESPN. And number 20, TT Kyle, in control of the ball. Goes over to number 3, Kayla Rasco. And Whitney appears to be taking charge this evening. Josh?
Yeah, she's up to now, 7 points of the Cougars' 13, and she's also has 4 rebounds. 3 on defense and 1 on offense, and that offensive rebound happened to be getting her own rebound.
And they don't call her the captain for nothing.
Right.
No, she isn't the captain for nothing.
You know, I've also noticed out of everybody,
There's a shot at
Whitney
Whitney.
has not been subbed out yet. So that also just shows
They're keeping her in for the long haul.
exactly. You know, I was talking to Sydney Hirsch, and she said that also there's competition on the team, which always makes you better in the end. Having a little competition.
Competition within the team,
Yes.
you say. Okay.
Having that urge to be the best on your team is something that also makes you a better player.
Yes. It drives you within the team. And Whitney attempting to screen there, but yeah, she is definitely taking charge.
Personal foul called on number 15, Whitney Tamaki.
A foul by Whitney Tamaki there. Maybe she's taking a little too much charge. But you must do what's necessary. Josh, did you witness that foul?
It was touch and go. I mean, I don't think it was any more physical than it had been. It just the player at the line now, number 23, Moody. She stepped on the foot of Tamaki right under the basket and tripped, and it looked like a foul.
Well, I mean, we're at an equal number of fouls on both teams here, so.
Right. And it's hard for the refs to make a call because everything is happening so fast. It's a lot to watch.
Yes.
Oh, watching the game, it's interesting how players can move so fast and still keep control of the ball.
Yes, that is I'd say one of the most difficult skills in basketball is keeping that ball with you while you're running across the court for that shot. I mean, you played basketball. I did too. I didn't have that much experience. I'm not going to go back to that. It's not a great experience for me. But when you played basketball, did you find that something particularly difficult?
Yes, I mean, I wasn't extremely well with keeping the ball, but I could definitely get the ball away from someone. The point guard is the person whose job is to keep the ball and dribble it and be able to control the game. And it's interesting because Whitney does not play the point guard, but she still is a big leader on the court.
Interesting point. And it's interesting. Right now, as we can see on the court, it appears that Whitney is probably the tallest player. And usually your center is the tallest player, if I'm not mistaken. Josh, isn't that right, that the center is usually the tallest player?
Generally speaking, yeah, because you want someone that can box people out and get the rebound. They're going to be the ones that are always closest to the basket. Although,
but in this game right now, it doesn't seem like Albany really has a designated point guard. They're really just a team that plays well as a team and goes well with passing.
So are you saying they have no positions?
I'm not saying they have no positions. I'm saying that the way they're playing is they're constantly moving.
I see. Oh, and number 3 nearly loses the ball there to number 23, Serena Apple, and they go for the shot and miss. And there is a powerful struggle there for the ball, and it's out of bounds.
Jane Sue just got trampled by one of the John Swett players.
Josh, who's on the floor there?
I'm not sure her name, but she's in obvious pain. The medical staff's going to come out. It looked like her leg got rolled under.
Alexis Daly, that is, yes.
Alexis Daly, yeah. Her leg was rolled on, and each player kind of rolled over the other one.
She's definitely going to be subbed out. The coach making the call on the sub.
Just little things like this usually just takes a little bit of time for the pain to go away, and you'll be right back up and in the game.
That is sometimes the case. Unfortunately, sometimes what seems to be a minor injury ends up becoming a major injury.
That's true as well, yeah.
As I know, many players tear their ACL, in soccer especially, and it usually leads to major surgery, and they can't play for the rest of that season and potentially the next season.
Yes, that's so true. I've had at least...
And Maya Chin, who's injured with a concussion, the doctors say that she cannot play for the rest of this season and potentially the rest of next season, which will be her final season. This may be her final season.
Yeah, I have to say that injuries are a big thing in sports, and having someone who's out for a season could also mean that she's out for the next season.
Yes.
And you mentioned that she's maybe out for the
Personal
year.
foul called on number
That's
30 for
an
Ryan
issue.
Johnson.
Players who can't go out the way they wanted to. I know for soccer, Lindsay, Frances Collins, the senior who tore her ACL, and that was kind of the end of her career. And she told me that she was looking at scholarship offers and a potential career in college, but she couldn't fulfill that because she couldn't play her final year. And it's tough to have to end on an injury after putting so much work into what you have loved, what you've been enjoying doing in high school.
Yeah, Josh, she's been playing. She's been getting back into the game. She hasn't been playing with the team, but she's been getting her touches on the ball.
Back to basketball. Caitlin Endo passes the ball to the ref. Timeout on the court. And they're in a huddle.
On February 11th, the Albany High School's jazz band in Rhythm Bound will be playing at Yoshi's in Oakland at 8 p.m. There's only one show and tickets are going incredibly fast. If you need tickets, please ask any of the kids in the jazz ensembles or get them online at www.yoshis.com/Oakland.
The jazz band here at Albany is exceptionally good. I've seen them in concert before, and I'd recommend to all of you that you go check this out and potentially buy tickets. And the timeout has been called over, and Whitney at the center of the huddle there. We have Tamaki, Epple, Enkataya, Aquino, and Endo on the court.
Looks like he's going with the starting lineup again, except for Camille.
I'm not sure Camille will be back in this evening after her eye injury. Although one player I have noticed that hasn't been in is Maya Kato.
Yeah, I have to say, I have no idea why she would not be playing tonight.
Josh, any idea why Maya Kato has not been in yet?
It may just be a personnel decision. I can't really say. I'm pretty sure she'll be in at least once or twice tonight.
We'll see in the last two quarters. Foul on the part of John Swett, number 35.
Personal foul called on number 1, Alexis Daly.
That was Alexis, who just earlier in the game we saw on the ground and having to limp off the court, but seems like she got back in and she's going in hard.
Yes.
Albany is now the bonus as well for the rest
And
of this
this is the
quarter.
bonus for Albany. We're up 16-15, Albany in the lead. And waiting for that perfect moment. And she goes for it and makes it. 17-15, Albany in the lead. And TT Kyle going down the court, nearly tripping Danny Aquino.
I've realized the score hasn't changed incredibly.
They're keeping up with each other. These are pretty equal teams.
Yeah, it's a great game.
And it appears that Maya Kato is up next in the lineup. Potentially going in for Danny Aquino. This will be the first time Maya Kato has played in this game. And number 40 goes in for the score and makes it. Veronica Barnett. And we're tied, 17-17. Arnell misses that shot. And Danny almost tries to make it up, but the ball is in the hands of Swett. Number 40 is showing some aggressive offense, counteracting that defense by Arnell and Gataya. Number 2, Maya Kato, and for number 23, Serena Apple.
Maya Cato now in the game for the Cougars.
It is her first year playing varsity too. So maybe the coach just wanted to see how the game was going to play out before he put her.
Yes, yes. Usually in the starting lineup, you start out with your most senior players, and as the game progresses, and depending on what the score is and how the game is progressing, you change your substitutes. So as Albany is in a pretty stable position at the moment, we're tied still, 17-17, the coach decided to sub Maya Cato for Serena Eppel.
You know, there's only 1 minute left in this period. Let's see if Albany can get some points on the board or if John Swett can to change this tie.
And we're 50 seconds away from halftime.
Oh, and just like I said, John Swett got a basket.
Up 2 points, 19-17, John Swett in the lead.
There's 28 seconds left on the clock, and it's John Swett's ball.
John Swett will be able to hold it for the final shot, too, because they're under the shot clock limit.
Pass it to number 40, Veronica Barnett, who misses that fadeaway, but it is thrown out of bounds.
You know,
Josh, who was that thrown out of bounds by?
It touched two Cougars, actually. It bounced off, I believe, Arnell and Maya. They were both going for the rebound and miscommunication.
And number 23 was on the floor there for a moment.
you know, I just realized number 40 has a left-handed shot, which is really rare in basketball.
Veronica Barnett.
Yeah.
And they're out of John Swett in control.
And John Swett is able to make another basket before 10 seconds was up.
Whitney Tamaki going down the court. Attempted blocking by number 3, and that is a foul. Called by
Personal foul on number 3,
number 3.
Whitney
Whitney up for the free throw. 21-17, John Swett in the lead. And she goes for the free throw and makes it. For that bonus point. And she makes it. They're 2 points away from catching up to John Swett. Let's see if they can make it in the third quarter, because I doubt in 2 seconds that will happen. And that's the second quarter. This is halftime. We end the second quarter with John Swett in the lead, 21-19. Maya Cato played for the first time in this game in the second quarter, substituting Serena Eppel, and it appears that Whitney Tamaki is taking charge. Josh?
Hey, Julian. Yeah, we've got a close one. It's 19-21. The Cougars are behind. Their leading scorer, the leading scorer for all scorers, is Whitney Tamaki, the captain and senior. She's up to 9 points as well as 5 rebounds.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by GoPro, makers of small wearable action sports cameras that go anywhere and attach to everything. The new HD Hero 2 also has a live preview out, allowing us to switch beautiful HD video from backstops, backboards, goalposts, and more. The GoPro HD Hero 2 making heroes out of Albany student broadcasting since 2012.
Yes, GoPro, a very helpful tool. As those of you who had watched volleyball, we had one on the net, and unfortunately, due to regulations, we cannot put one on the backboard this evening. Now, as many of you may know, the Albany All-Star Wrestling team is coached by Kermit Bankson. And several weeks ago, against Tennyson and Hayward, was his last home match, and he has been here since January of 1970. And here at Albany, we'd like to honor him.
You know, he's my teacher this year, and I'm so glad to have him for his last year. I think he's an amazing PE teacher.
He is currently 67 years old, although he claims he is in his 90s. He is known as one of the toughest teachers here at Albany, but he has led the Cougars in wrestling to NCS, 23 league championships, and 2 wrestlers who placed in the state meet. Josh, Kermit Bankson, tell us what makes this man so exceptional and incredible.
Well, I had the fortune and at times misfortune to have him as my PE coach when I was a freshman.
Josh, you don't know what cold is.
I heard that plenty of times, mostly on mild days. Luckily, I had him in the morning, so it had extra special meaning. I really can't tell you. I don't know what it is. He's just a man with a passion for what he does, I guess. I really don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he has some famous pickup lines. Well, that is Kermit Bankson, one of the most exceptional institutions at Albany. We'll be right back with more of John Swett versus the Albany Cougars. we're back at the Albany Cougars versus the John Swett Indians this evening, with the Indians in the lead, 21-19. We have seen some exceptional plays, a lot of fouls. Whitney Tamaki on the Cougars, a senior, and one of the captains, is really taking charge of the team right now. And there's Caitlin Endo, number 35, passing it off to Camille Obata, who is back in the game after receiving a contact injury, knocking out her contact.
Josh, you have some information about that on us?
Yeah, I spoke to Camila Bada as she left the locker room. What she told me was that way back in the first half, when she went up for that three, she was poked in the eye by the opposing player and it knocked out her contact. So she had to deal with that. It wasn't so much pain as it was just trying to get her contact back, and that's why she had to leave.
Yeah, you know, I don't wear contacts, but my sister does, and she says they can be a bother.
They are a pain. Back to basketball. Number 23 there. Passes it off to Caitlin Endo, who passes it back to Arnell. And Arnell is on the floor. Again, hit by number 24.
You know, this game is filled with fouls, and I'm surprised that no one has gotten their 5 fouls yet, so they all are staying in the game.
Now, this game is basically a battle between for third place. Both Albany and John Swett are 1-4 in the league. That means they both have 1 win and 4 losses. And however, if the Cougars win this evening, they will gain that third place position. However, if John Swett wins this evening, they will gain that third place position. And preceding them in the ranks is Kennedy, which is 7-0, and Hercules, which is 5-2. However, also, if the Cougars win this evening, it increases their chances of going to NCS and the playoffs.
You know, it looks like they're trying to rerun a play that didn't go so well last time.
And number 3 is hitting the head.
Personal foul on number 23.
Well, that was a foul for Jackie Moody. And Whitney Tamaki there in control. Gives it off to Caitlin Endo, who goes for the shot. That's a point for Albany. And we're even, 23-23. Jesus. So he gets that goal.
Looks like it's getting a little rough.
Almost hit Lindsay and I there. It's an exciting game when that happens.
Yes. You know, I noticed that John Swett doesn't often change their lineup either. It seems like they keep this around the same 5 players in at all times.
Well, they have fewer players than we do. I mean, if you take a look at their bench compared to our bench, we have more players. Whitney Tamaki looking fierce there. And like we've said, she's one of the most passionate players on this team, one of the best players on the team, and she's a senior. And I think part of that is 4 years of seniority and also your skill level, which is acquired through practice as well. And she goes for the layup and makes it. We're at 25-23, Albany in the lead. Whitney Tamaki bringing us up.
The crowd just went wild knowing that we're now in the lead. It's amazing what a crowd's energy can do to a player's self-esteem.
Now, Josh, do you think that tonight's turnout in terms of fans is greater than what it usually is?
Well, it's hard to say. It depends on what sport. I know that we had an article that ran in the Albany High School's print, The Cougar, about crowd sizes and how Albany doesn't draw very big crowds to most sporting events. This is a pretty decent turnout compared to a lot of other crowd sizes. Of course, not as big as you'd want on senior night. I know that when the volleyball team, although it was maybe in part because they were making a playoff run, they had larger crowds that would fill the stands, and occasionally they'd bring both the stands out.
And Whitney Tamaki on there for the floor briefly, but that's a point by 4. Swett.
You know, like I was saying earlier, Albany's more of a passing team than a dribbling team, and it seems like right now we're just changing up the way we're playing. It seems like we're more so dribbling than passing, and it seems to be working right now.
Number 23, Serena Apple, passes it off to Camilo Bato, but is in the hands of John Swett. And it's moving across the court. And that's a call.
Timeout on court.
Timeout called by John Swett. And Camille is a member of our broadcast team on the statistics side of things. She's one of our favorite people on the team.
Don't forget the snack shack in the gym lobby.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by the City of Albany, KALB 33, supporting community television and providing Albany citizens with broadcasts of local, social, and political events. City of Albany, KALB, Channel 33.
And if you're watching this broadcast right now, you are watching KALB Channel 33. That is, if you have Comcast. We thank you for watching. Or it is also available at albanystudentbroadcasting.com or directly on YouTube. And we are coming back to the court. Whitney, Arnell, Jane, Danny, and Katie in the lineup right now. Katie Yamada is a junior. Shows good skills for next year as a senior. This is her first year on varsity. Arnell saves the ball from hitting the scorer's booth.
You know, Jane Sue, a freshman, seems to really be getting her passes to their target tonight. And, you know, that's a good thing. She might not be getting up on all the shots, but she is passing to her team, and she's keeping the ball.
And it's notable in and of itself that she's a freshman on varsity.
Yeah.
To be a freshman on varsity is quite a spectacular thing, especially in a competitive sport like this. Especially when you have players like Whitney, Katie, Serena, Danny on the team.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. You know, it seems like Katie's taking charge right now, and it seems to be working pretty well. And Jane just saved them with the time in the shot clock by taking a shot.
And there's an attempted shot that's missed by TT Kyle. In terms of the John Swett players, TT Kyle is one of the shorter players on the team, but shows aggression and quick thinking there in terms of the defense.
Personal foul call on number 1.
And that's a foul called on Alexis Daly.
That's 4 personal fouls on Ms. Daly.
So far, John Swett is calling all the fouls here. 3 for them. That's pretty significant. It shows aggression. Not necessarily bad aggression, but it shows aggression.
And like you said, not necessarily bad. Aggression can also...
This is basketball.
Yeah.
Not ballet. And we need aggression. Right, Josh?
I guess so. They've been playing physical all day.
You know, but also, I realize that, like I said before, these two teams are smaller, so maybe aggression is what gives them that upper hand against size.
They're really fighting for that third place title.
Sounds like the Albany bench is really getting into the game now.
And it appears number 44, Evelyn Miller, will be substituting in for
Alan Miller back in the game for the Cougars.
number 20, Jane Sue, excuse me.
The score again is tied up, except this time at 25 to 25.
Danny Aquino putting that defense on number 3, and she gets it over to Katie Yamada, who's bringing it down the court and misses the layup.
You know, but she also had really hard pressure on her back.
That's a lot of pressure to bring that ball down the court when you got all of John Swett following you down there.
John Swett in the lead now, 27 to 25.
We'll see if Albany can pick it up here in the third quarter.
There's only 1 minute left in this third quarter, so hopefully Albany can bring it around.
Number 35, Katie Endo, is waiting to be subbed in. Potentially.
Foul on number 44.
And there was a foul on number 44. And number 35, Katie Endo, is going in for number 3, Katie Yamada.
Yeah, sorry.
And they're off. TT Kyle with the ball passing. It's number 3. Number 3 goes for the shot, misses. Back on the hands of Whitney Tamaki, taking it down the court, fighting that defense. She goes for the layup and misses. Back on the floor. TT Kyle bringing it back down to their side of the court. Passing it off to number 3, Kayla Oresco. And it is blocked by Arnell and Kataya, who's on the floor. That looks like a hard hit. Close call there between Arnell and Veronica Barnett. That looked intense.
Yeah, it was definitely intense, and seeing her on the ground and her face just showed all of the pain that she was just in that 1 second.
But she's still in the game.
That shows really compassion.
Resilience.
Yeah, and compassion for the sport.
Less than 20 seconds to go. Arnell attempts to give it to Avalon, and it is taken back by, oh, and there's a fight for the ball. Aggressiveness.
It's a jump ball, and possession goes to John Swett.
John Swett, number 23, Jackie Moody. In control of the ball, she gives it to number 3, Kayla Orasco, who gives it to number 40, Veronica Barnett, who goes for the shot and misses. And that is the end of the third quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Albany Cougars versus the John Swett Indians. Currently, the Indians are up by 2 points at 27-25. Josh, how did the third quarter look from down on the court?
Well, it was low in scoring. It remained 25-25 till pretty much the end, and now it's 27-25. Albany is behind, so they're going to have to pick up their scoring, and the defense seems to be doing fine. One thing that they can play off John Swett in this coming quarter is that John Swett is up to 4 fouls, team fouls, and Albany has just 1. So if John Swett doesn't want to get Albany in the bonus, they're going to have to play off them a little more, and Albany can play a little closer to their opponents.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. It seems like John Swett really is playing even more aggressive than the first half. And that's surprising because in the first half they were already pretty aggressive.
The new lineup for the fourth quarter includes Danny Aquino, Katie Endo, Avalon Miller, Whitney Tamaki, and Arnell and Kataya. Arnell has showed quite a fight this evening.
You know, I know Arnell is not captain for her senior year, but she sure does have an energy that is brought to the team.
Devotion.
Devotion.
And she's fierce.
Exactly. And like Coach said, she's a steady player.
And she won't let the ball get away from her.
And John Swett, number 20, has the ball. Foul is called on number 24 from John Swett.
Katie Endo with the ball. Taking patiently, but passes it to Arnell. Then passes it to Danny, number 5. Back to Whitney Tamaki, who loses the ball. And out of bounds.
You know, it looks like they're starting to go back to passing. Maybe Coach talked to them in between the two periods. or something, but it seems like their offense seems to go back to passing.
Yes. There's a shot at Avalon Miller, number 44. Sophomore on varsity, also very impressive.
Personal foul call on number 24, Princess Robertson.
Whitney Tamaki in control. Passes off to Katie Endo, who is going to pass it off to Avalon Miller, who's going to go for the layup and misses. Arnell and Kataya in control, passing it off to Danny Aquino and right back to Arnell. Off to Whitney Tamaki, number 15, to Danny Aquino, and she goes for the shot and misses. Number 3, Kayla Oresco bringing it down the court. Fighting off defense, but passes off to CT Kyle. Over to and two John Swett players seem to have hit each other. Michelle New is waiting to substitute in here. Number 30, Michelle New, a junior on varsity.
And Whitney for the 3, oh, and she misses.
And they have kept Whitney in the entire game, haven't they, Josh?
Yeah, she has been playing nonstop, and it's hard to believe that she isn't tired at this point because you can see she's getting a little sluggish as she moves up the court. She kind of stopped and waited for that to see what would happen at the end of that shot before she would be going for the rebound.
She's breathing heavily, it looks like, and she looks tired. And we're wondering if Michelle New will substitute in for Whitney. And 35 is slides on the floor. Katie Endo.
Personal foul on number 40, Veronica.
Call foul on number 40. Number 30, Michelle New on the Cougars, goes in for number 5, Danny Aquino.
It's Cougars ball.
And there's a tussle for the ball there between Arnell Nicotine and Kataya, Evelyn Miller, and Veronica Barnett on John Swett.
And the ref calls it a blue ball.
And that is a full call on Avalon Miller, number 44, a push.
That is 4 fouls on Ms. Miller.
And that is 4 fouls on Avalon Miller.
You know, she's an aggressive player, but she's also a good player. So I see why the coach wants to keep her in.
We have approximately 5.5 minutes on the clock left for the fourth quarter, and maybe Albany will kick it up in this last quarter, and we'll be at, currently we're at 27-25 with John Swett in the lead.
You know, it's the same score that we ended the last period with.
No one scored. Josh, do you think that Albany can come back in these next 5 minutes?
Well, I mean, to say come back and make it sound like they're down some insurmountable amount. They're only down by 2, but I got to tell you, it's not going to be easy because Albany is tired. They have almost all of their starters on the court, and I can see firsthand that a lot of them are breathing heavily.
Especially Whitney.
Yeah, it's becoming an endurance test.
Well, it's one of those moments when you just push through, you keep pushing through, and eventually that hard work and devotion will pay off. Once again, 27-25, John Swett in the lead. 29-25, John Swett in the lead.
Timeout on the court.
Timeout called on the court by Albany.
Full timeout called by the John Swett Indians.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Contra Costa County Office of Education Regional Occupational Program, a career training program created for high school students and adult learners.
That is ROP. And we're at 29-25. John Swett in the lead.
You know, towards the end of a game, coaches really use up those timeouts to get their players' heads back in the game and to also keep the other team from scoring those extra points.
Yeah, the Lady Cougars look quite tired right now, especially when Itamagi has been in all 4 quarters.
Cougars ball down at their half of the court.
Michelle New passing it off to Caitlin Endo. Giving it to Whitney. And Michelle New goes for the layup but misses.
She wins back the ball, takes another shot, and misses again. You know, at least when she misses, she tries to get the ball back. It's something that really is good to see in a player.
She goes for the rebound.
Exactly.
And Josh, what was that tussle about there?
That was going for the ball, Julian. It's been physical all game. They've had a couple of these tussles, as you called them.
Number 30, Michelle New, coming out in exchange for number 23, Serena Apple. When did Albany last score, Josh?
About midway through the third quarter. We're now midway through the fourth quarter.
And Albany is 4 points away from a tie. We're 29-25.
But also, we're 4 minutes away from the end of this last quarter.
I mean, I'd say there's a probable chance that Albany could come back in this final quarter and within 4 minutes.
And you know, also in basketball, each basket is 2 points. So, yeah, I have to agree with you there. There's a definite possibility.
And that's a point for Albany. We're at 29-28. John Swett still in the lead, but it looks like the Cougars are coming back.
Current score is now 28-29, with Whitney Tamaka making the three.
Josh, I think there is a chance that we will come back tonight, the Cougars.
Well, I mean, there never wasn't a chance. The most that they've been down was, what, 4 points? Just a couple minutes ago, until Whitney Tamaki hit that three.
You know, and that was a beautiful three. No backboard or anything, just complete swish.
Yes, very graceful shot.
John Swett now has the ball. And that was a foul by
Albany.
Personal foul on number 24, Arnella Nikaya. Jackie Moody shooting 2 free throws.
You know, looks like towards the end of this period, we're catching up in the foul section of tonight.
And she goes for the free throw and makes it. 31-28. John Swett in the lead. Albany is 3 points short. Katie Endo there passing it to Whitney. And Serena Apple goes for the layup, misses.
I have to say, it looks like I saw a hand shoot out there, and it looked like a foul to me, but... And Whitney with the layup. Number 23 had a slight injury, but says she is Gucci.
Yes, she says she is, quote, Gucci. A new term that is the youth are using to say good, for those of you that didn't know.
And Albany High coach calling full timeout.
Full timeout. We can see the John Swett coach there, giving his team a prep talk. Mr. Coach, number 0 on the back of his t-shirt there.
You know, I was realizing their uniforms earlier, and their coach does have a coaching shirt, but our team has all the same shoes.
Interesting point. Interesting point. I think Mr. Coach here on John Swett is quite a charismatic character based on what we've seen.
You know, he's also the coach, interestingly enough, for their JV team as well.
Josh, in the past 6.5 minutes, excuse me, 5.5 minutes, what have you seen? What's been remarkable?
Well, it's that the Cougars have been able to really stay in it because almost everyone out here is a starter. They've been playing 4 quarters. And John Swett doesn't seem to be as tired as Albany is. It's just, I guess, mind over body.
Albany just put in 2 new players. Again, Sydney Hirsch and Jane Sue. So maybe he's hoping those fresh legs will get the Albany some points that they need. Albany goes up for the shot, gets denied, and goes up for another one and gets a foul call. Whitney just got taken out during the break and now is getting put back in. You know, that was her first time being out of the game tonight.
Yes. Katie Ender going for that free throw, and she makes it.
Making the
And
score,
Whitney is back in.
it's interesting. The score is now 31-33 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the last quarter.
Katie going for that second free throw, and she
She
makes it. Katie Endo, number 35, a captain, and the senior. Ooh, TT Kyle catching that jump ball there.
And number 23 for John Swett just made another layup, making the score 35-32.
It's a very close game.
Yes. You know, both teams came out giving it their all, and it really shows on the court.
This is true.
Personal foul called on Whitney Tamaki.
Number 5, Danny Aquino going in for number 21,
Sydney Hirsch. You know, Whitney's had a couple fouls called on her now, and yet she's still in the game. I believe I just saw one of the stats people hold up 4 to the coach, which means she has 4 fouls. It's a warning almost.
And 6 overall for Albany.
Exactly.
Although John Swett has 7.
Timeout on the court.
Timeout.
30-second timeout called by the Cougars.
That is once again a 30-second timeout called by the Albany Cougars.
You know, it's a wise choice how he called the timeout right there, having just won back the ball, not wanting to lose any amount of time that they have.
Now, Josh, at a certain point there, it seemed that Caitlin Endo threw herself on the ground in order to save a ball. What you were right there. What can you say about that?
Well, what I can say is that it's a clear sign of the sense of urgency that's developed among the Cougars. They're closing in now on 1 minute and 20 seconds left in what could be 7 of these players' final high school home game. They don't want to go out losers in a game that's been so tightly contested like this one.
Especially when you have a turnout of fans like we do tonight.
Again, number 20, TT, for John Swett, is bringing the ball down the court.
TT Kyle putting up some aggressive defense there.
Looks like coach is getting a little riled up for Albany High about the referee's calls.
Personal foul called on number 35, Caitlin Endo.
have to say that the fouls seem to be racking up on each player from Albany.
Yes, yes.
We got 1 minute left.
1 minute left in regulation.
Less than a minute left, and we're at 35-32, both in a bonus. And the Cougars just need to score 3 more points.
It's a jump ball, and possession is with the Albany Cougars right now. Looks like we have another chance. Right now, you're seeing Coach, who seems to be, again, like I said, getting pretty riled up about the game and the score.
Whitney throwing up. Oh, Danny Aquino tries to take the ball away, but it ends up out of bounds.
You know, I realized she just fell on the floor too. Like you said before, it seems like everyone's really throwing themselves out for that defense.
And as Josh said, this is their last home game of varsity basketball in high school.
Yeah, it may be a tough one at the end here, closing in 44.7 seconds, and it's 35-32. The Cougars are down. A lot of these seniors, this is not, all of these seniors, this is not the way they, I'm sure, had in mind.
And as we've said before, if the Cougars win tonight, they will keep, or excuse me, get the third place slot. However, if John Swett wins tonight, they will get the third place shot.
You know, right now, John Swett is taking free throws, which is exactly the place where Albany does not want to be. They don't want to be down on their half of the court. They really need to get those points.
And Whitney taking it down the court in less than 40 seconds to go. She threw herself onto the court, and
she takes the shot and
is hurt.
She's down. It does not look good right now.
She had a knee brace on. Josh, what happened?
Yeah, she's in a lot of pain. I can see from my angle her face. Just trying to work on her breathing.
She threw herself down. I mean, we're at 32-35. John Swett in the lead. She's pushing it. She's trying to get those 3 points. 4 points to win the game.
Coach does not look too happy about this, having one of his top players down with only 30 seconds left to go.
31.4 seconds to go exactly. 35-32. John Swett in the lead. Albany will need 4 more points to win the game. 3 more points to tie.
Looks like Coach is giving a little pep talk to the people on court right now, trying to get them their heads back into this game and see what they can do. Josh, does it look like Whitney is feeling any better having Kelly help her out there?
It looks pretty serious. Or at least it's the impression I'm getting over here.
She's back up.
She's obviously in a lot of pain, and it's tough that this looks like the way that she'll end her career. And as we talked about earlier, it's ending a career on an injury.
At least she did it gracefully, with dignity, and as a devoted captain on the Albany Cougars.
Ball is back in. John Swett's ball.
And Danny Aquino showing some aggressive defense. And Danny Aquino throws herself on the floor along with number 20. Cougars are pushing it. They want those 3 points.
Personal foul call,
You know,
number 35.
fouls, again, like I said, just keep on coming in. It seems like Albany's really, really anxious to get those last points.
TT foul on the line. 1-1.
And TJ Kyle missed that free throw.
And John Swett calls a timeout.
Full timeout called by John Swett.
Full timeout called by John Swett. And from what I am hearing, Whitney appears to be, she claims that she is fit to play, to continue to play in the last 25 seconds. I cannot confirm that, but we shall see in a moment.
Spring sports are just around the corner. Tryouts will be soon for baseball, softball, swimming, men's golf, and track and field. And stay tuned to Albany Student Broadcasting for baseball coverage.
Whitney Tamaki has confirmed that she will be continuing to play in this fourth quarter with 5.4 seconds to go. Whitney Tamaki is back in. Josh, go ahead.
Oh, it's going to be a boost for the Cougars who really need it now because she's leading all scorers. She's up to now 14 points.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the top scorers, and definitely, like we said, she brings energy and she's a leader on the team. Let's see if she can give her team the points that they need to either tie up this game or win.
Personal foul called on number 35, Caitlin Endo. That is 4 fouls. Pardon me, 5 fouls.
And Katie Endo is out with 5 fouls.
Serena Apple in to take her place. TT Kyle up for the free throw. A crucial moment. And she misses. Albany is strong with the free throws. John Swett not so much, but John Swett is putting up a fight nevertheless.
Yes, definitely. Her last free throw. And she misses. John Swett gets the ball.
Less than 20 seconds to go.
And Katie Endo with the wrap around John Swett.
Personal foul called on number 3, Maya Cato. TT Kyle once again on the free throw line.
Again, TT's up at the line. And she misses.
Sydney Hirsch coming in for number 3, Katie Amata. Whitney takes the ball. However,
it was a false start and it's White's ball.
This 15 seconds could be the determining moment for the Cougars. They're playing aggressively, going to Serena Apple. Timeout called by the Cougars with just over 10 seconds to go. 10.7 seconds.
You know, again, timeouts are crucial at this point, and coaches really save them up perfectly.
Full timeout called by the Cougars.
Right now, you see the huddle of the Albany High Cougars, and it looks like Whitney is getting her leg checked out again, and their coach is giving them another team talk.
Quite a charismatic coach as well. Adds to the mix.
Definitely, even the coaches are part of this basketball family that they have. With 10 seconds left in the game, John Swett is winning 35 to 32, and it is Albany High's ball.
They need 3 points, at least to get into overtime. 4 points if they want to take the game now, but it's going to be a challenge. Serena Apple with the ball, passes it to Whitney Tamaki. She goes for the shot and misses.
Again, I have to say, it looks like Whitney's leg is really, really bugging her.
2.3 seconds to go. Whitney Tamaki appears to be in a lot of pain.
Personal foul called on number
The Cougars have been playing difficult, have been playing very hard in this final quarter especially.
Yes, you know, I see number 5 on the Cougars even has a bloody knee, just showing their want for this win.
It'll be difficult for Albany to get back up with Whitney, their best player, off the court.
Right now, with only 3 seconds left.
0.3 seconds left according to the scoreboard here. There seems to be a technical difficulty with the scoreboard.
Yes, instead of 0.3 seconds, I do believe there's 30 minutes up there.
That is,
That's even absurd for basketball. Basketball's only 8 minutes each quarter.
These accidents, these mistakes are going to be tough for the stats team to live down.
Definitely.
there we go, 3 seconds left.
At least everyone seems to be smiling and laughing about it.
The statistics team struggling to put up the appropriate amount of seconds.
Yeah, some
They're
Cougar players have left the bench to help resolve this scoreboard issue.
You know, they're trying to put up 3 seconds, or 0.3 seconds. Oh, 3 seconds, but it's just not working.
There are 3 seconds left in tonight's game in regulation.
3 seconds left in this evening's game. And number 3, Kayla Orozco with the free throw. And she makes it.
You know, I know Albany's got a great team, but I just really don't think that they'll be able to make.
Timeout called.
They'll be able to take back those points that they need in 3 seconds.
30-second timeout, called by John Swett.
The Cougars have played tough. Josh?
Josh, how do you believe the Cougars have been playing?
Well, I mean, they've kept it close. Have never fallen behind by that much. They've been matching up well with their opponent. No doubt about that. It's been very physical. They had the lead for a lot of the game, but just towards the end, players were getting tired, and the scoring really on both halves plateaued. Neither team had trouble finding the basket, but it's been a battle, and it's been a struggle. And if they can't pull off this win in the next 3 seconds, they can at least hold their heads high, because they certainly fought for this.
Timeout called. 2 seconds left.
30-second timeout called by the Cougars.
The Cougars are taking advantage of any timeouts they can get at this point. Within a 2 second gap. It's tight, it's tough, and there's tension.
You know, I don't even know if Superman could get back the points needed in these 2 seconds.
Well, I don't know about that. Josh?
I
Any
mean,
insight on Superman?
4 points, it really isn't that big of a deficit. If you go for a 3, you hit the 3 and get the foul, you have a chance for a 4-point play right there. I mean, that's not the most likely of situations, but sometimes miracles happen if you want them to happen.
Yes.
Yes, that's definitely true.
Like Coach Carter. And they're lining up.
It's Cougars ball. John Swett really pushing the defense.
1 second to go, and the game is over. Victory for the John Swett Indians. Final score, 36-32. The Cougars were 4 short to tying and 5 short for winning the game.
You know, all of the Cougars seem to be a little down about the loss, and I have to say, it was such a close game.
So this means that Albany will have be in 4th place. John Swett will take the 3rd place, just behind Kennedy and Hercules. Josh, what are your overall thoughts on this evening's game?
Well, I've said it once before, and I'll say it again. It was a grind all the way through, and it was hard to really give either team an edge, either team an advantage. It was tightly contested, and joining me now is the senior captain, Caitlin Endo. We can maybe get a camera on this. Hi.
Hi.
So this is your final home game. It may not have ended as you had wanted it to. What are your thoughts?
I think we went out hard. It's a bittersweet thing. I mean, this is the last time I'm going to be playing here, but I'm glad that we put it all out on the floor, and I hope that the fans enjoyed it.
So you fouled out tonight.
Yeah.
You really wanted a win, and you were on the floor a lot. Are you all right?
Yeah, bruises, but it's all part of the game. It's all right.
All right. Well, thank you. You can join your team. Congratulations. All right. Well, that was Caitlin Endo, the senior captain who had been on this varsity team now for 2 years, and tonight is her final game. And as she said, it's not quite how she wanted it to end, but she will ride out into the sunset. Certainly a winner in many respects, as will the rest of this team. So, Julian, I send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Josh. This evening would not have been possible, of course, without the Cougars or John Swett. They both played honorably. But not to mention here on the production side of things, our producer this evening was Lainey Maris. The associate producer was Tenzin Dodden. Our director was Kat Superwit. Our technical director was Han Yin. Our audio 1 was Hannah Lehman. Our A2 was Justin Saltzman. Our camera 1 was Jonah Korchin. Our camera 2 was Kefren Gorey. Our camera 3 was Kyle Borrello. And of course, our lovely sideline, Josh Glatt. Statistics, Maheen Goje. Graphics, Jenny Wu. And camera utility, Ryan Glatt. And Lindsay and I, Lindsay, it's an honor always to broadcast with you.
Thank you. It's also an honor to be here with you.
And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, February 5th, when the Albany varsity men's basketball team will be playing again. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Julian Voscott with Lindsay Wolf, and for all of us at Albany High School, thank you for watching. Have a great evening and be safe.